Good morning, dear students. Today's our topic is culture. So, what is culture itself? Let me explain you what is culture. Culture is one of the most important concepts in social sciences. In sociological usage, culture specifically refers to social structure and ideas that give meaning to human social structure. While society refers to social structure apart from underlying values and ideas, they are inseparable. It is important to distinguish between the related concepts of culture and society. Sometimes the concepts are used synonymously to mean all learned habit, the total ways of life of a social group or a group's social heritage. Also, culture and society are closely related concepts that can never be wholly separated. So, simplified, culture comes from the Latin word colore, meaning to build on, to cultivate, and to foster. Culture is a set of accepted behavior patterns, values, assumptions, and shared common experiences. Culture defines social structure, decision-making practices, and communication styles. Culture meaning. Culture refers to the beliefs, values, behavior, and material objects that together form a people's way of life. Culture determines how we view the world around us. Culture includes the traditions we inherit and pass on to the next generation. Culture, totality of our shared language, knowledge, material objects, and behavior. So, understanding culture, what does it mean? Culture is a unique possession of man. Every man is born into a society is the same as saying that every man is born into a culture. Every man can be regarded as a representative of this culture. Culture is a unique quality of man which separates him from the lower animals. Culture can be said to include all the human phenomena in a society, including all learned behavior. Culture is a very broad term that includes our ways of life and modes of behavior, our philosophies and ethics, our morals and manners, our customs and tradition, our religious, political, economic, and other types of activities. Structure of culture. Trait. Smallest unit of culture is cultural trait. For example, shaking hands. Complexes. Traits combine to form cultural complexes. For example, dance group consists of dancers, choreographers, production house, manager, audience, and etc. Pattern. Cultural complexes combines to form cultural pattern. For example, industrial township has a way of life different from agricultural society. Cultural institutions. An institution is a series of complexes and patterns centering around a configuration of needs. For example, family matchmaking complex, wedding pattern, child rearing pattern, husband-wife relation pattern, and etc. The next topic is culture and society. Society, the structure of relationships within which culture is created and shared through regularized patterns of social interaction. Society provides a context within which our relationships with the external world develop. How we structure society constrains the kind of culture we construct. Cultural preferences vary across societies. Functions of culture. Culture defines situation, culture conditions, and determines what we eat and drink what we wear, where to love, we sleep, to make friends with, what work we do, what to worship. Culture is the treasury of knowledge. Culture provides knowledge which is important for the physical, social, and intellectual existence of man. On the contrary, animals do not have this advantage because culture does not exist at subhuman level. Cultural steps not only the transmission of knowledge but also its preservation, accumulation, and diffusion. The next one about culture provides behavior patterns. Culture assigns goals and provides means for achieving them. It rewards his noble ones and punishes the immoral ones. Culture not only controls but also liberates human energy and activities. Culture defines attitudes, values, and goals. Culture conditions our attitudes towards various issues such as religion, morality, science, family planning, prostitution, and so on. Our values concerning private property, fundamental rights, being respectful and obedient to elders, and teachers being patriotic, loyal, are influenced by our culture. Culture models personality. Culture prepares man for group life and provides him the design of living. It is not possible to develop human qualities, personalities in the absence of a cultural environment. It is culture that provides opportunities for the development of personality and sets limits on its growth. Culture decides our career. Culture sets limitations on our choice to select different careers. Individual is exposed to and molded by the culture of the group into which he is born. Every individual is unique in any culture, but the culture provides not only for universals but also for alternatives. The uniqueness may be based on individual differences in ability, aptitude, and learning. Characteristics of culture. Culture is shared and acquired with birth, and it is transmitted from one generation to the next. Culture is basically a blueprint for living in a particular society. Culture is learned. It is not an inborn tendency but learned socially by man. Unlearned behavior such as closing the eyes while sleeping, the eye blinking, a reflex, and so on, are purely psychological and not cultural. Shaking hands or saying namaskar or thanks, on the other hand, are cultural. Culture is social. Culture does not exist in isolation, neither is an individual phenomenon. It is a product of society and originates and develops through social interactions. No man can acquire culture without association with other human beings. It is a culture which helps man to develop human qualities in a human environment. Culture is shared. Culture in the sociological sense is something shared. It is not something that an individual alone can possess. Customs, traditions, beliefs, ideas, values, morals are all shared by people of a group or society. Culture is something adopted, used, believed, practiced, or possessed by more than one person. It depends upon group life for its existence. Culture is transmissive. Culture is transmitted not through genes, but by means of language, through generations. Language in its different forms like reading and writing is the main vehicle of culture. But language itself is a part of culture. Once language is acquired, Transmission of culture may take place by imitation as well as by instruction. Culture is continuous and cumulative. Culture is a growing whole which includes in itself achievements of the past and the present and makes provision for the future achievements of mankind. Culture is consistent and integrated. Culture has a tendency to be consistent and are interconnected. Culture is dynamic and adaptive. Culture is subjected to slow but constant changes. Change and growth are latent in culture. Culture is therefore dynamic. Culture is responsive to the changing conditions of the physical world, adaptive nature. Culture is gratifying. Culture provides proper opportunities and prescribes means for the satisfaction of our needs and desires. These needs may be biological or social in nature. Culture determines and guides the varied activities of man. Culture varies from society to society. Culture of every society is unique to itself. They are not uniform. Cultural elements such as customs, traditions, morals, ideas, values, ideologies are not uniform everywhere. No culture ever remains constant, it varies from time to time also. Types of culture. There are several types of culture now we will see with you. The first one is material culture. Material culture refers to the physical objects and resources people use to define their culture. These include homes, neighborhoods, cities, schools, churches, temples, mosques, offices, factories, and plants, product stores. Physical aspects of a culture help to define its members' behaviors and perceptions. Non-material culture includes creations and abstract ideas that are not embodied in physical objects. Intangible products created and shared between the members of a culture over time. Social rules, ethics, and beliefs. Crucial guides for members of a culture to use to know how to behave in their society and interpret the world. Components of culture. Symbols and language. Symbols are acts, gestures or objects, flags that have come to be socially accepted as standing for some particular thing. Values. These are ideas about what is right and what is wrong. They are standards that people use to decide what is desirable, good, and beautiful, and that serve as broad guidelines for social living. Values differs from society to society as every social order chooses what to be valid and what not. Our value systems give more importance to religion, concern for others, while in the Western world success achievements are given more importance. Norms. These are social rules which dictates correct and appropriate behavior in the society. Norms tell us what we must do and what we must not do. Norms are enforced with sanctions, reward or punishment that encourage conformity to cultural norms. Societal sanctions are ranked by severity. Folkways, customary ways of behavior. Habits, although is a personal matter, those are common to group. Related with day-to-day way of behavior, not related to moral values. They are socially approved but vary society to society, followed automatically and spontaneously. If violated, person is ridiculed, laughed at and boycotted if violation is repeated. Way of greetings, way of dressing for an occasion, standing, sitting, and etc. Morals. Standards of behavior which influences the moral conduct of the people, conformity to mass, associated with moral values, and is more vital of society than folkways. Society considers compliance with mores more important for its welfare and maintenance of order. The reaction to vital violation is stronger compared to folkways. Negative mores are called taboos. More closely associated with love, stealing is a taboo as well as crime. Folkways and norms. Folkways. Customary ways of behavior should be followed, useful for day-to-day living. Folkways change more rapidly, followed spontaneously, followed not out of fear. Sanctions on violations are lenient, vary from society to society. Ways of greeting differs in Hindus and Muslims, less likely to be converted into love. So, I think that's enough for today's lesson. For the second lessons, we will continue. I hope that you liked today's our lesson about culture, our PPT, and I hope that you had enough information about what is culture, what is morality, what is cultural beliefs, ideologies, symbols, and etc. Bye, see you soon, thanks for attention.